Karibu AMG Realtors. We have specialized in selling of land across the country in areas like Nanyuki, Naivasha, Nakuru, Juja, Kagunda Road, Malindi, and the Abadeas. Contact us today for land investment solutions and have your title deed delivered within 60 days upon completion of payment. SMS AMG to 40299 or call us on +254 748 229 941. AMG Realtors. We don't just deal in land, we deal in value.
Thank you so much, Shamara, for being here and just bringing your light. You know, I'm so excited and I'm looking forward to today's conversation. By the way, I didn't tell you, I love the yellow highlights.
Thank you.
You snuck them up in there.
Yellow's my color. Like, it's the black girl's color. It makes us pop. So my entire room has yellow accents all over.
That's beautiful. You know, that's amazing because I really use yellow much with the brand too, and that's one of the colors you see. My favorite color is, I'm always stuck between blue and purple, but it's kind of like in the same lane. But yellow is just like that sweet spot, you know. It's like, you know, so
and it goes with both those colors. And it's funny because my favorite color is red, but my brand color is yellow because it just spreads so much joy. Like, when people see it, they're like, oh my goodness, you have a joyful personality. I'm like, I know, it's the color.
It's so true, because when someone sees yellow, they're so excited, they're happy. Yep. It's like it's a sun. It's like, hello, you know, like.
Yes. That's exactly what it is.
Exactly. I'm so excited to have you here and just join the We Don't Play podcast show. And I would definitely love people to know more about you, you know, because shout out to Clubhouse. That's how we got to meet. You know, it's been amazing how this podcast started with just myself, just recording. And then I ended up meeting people all over the world, and then on social audio. And then it just became like, where are we going next? You know? Exactly. And I'm happy because I don't know what happens next, because I shouldn't be thinking about that. I should be enjoying the process, because now meeting you now is such a blessing, and I can't wait to connect with you and the people who are going to hear what you have to say, because you have a lot of gems coming.
Yes. Yeah, I'm super excited. I was anticipating this episode of the podcast, and I'm just like, I can't wait. So I'm happy to get into it.
Thank you so much. So tell us, who is Shamara? Like, what does she do, and what are we about to listen to?
That is such a great question. So, I am Shamara Cox. I'm a TV producer and content creator. I love everything video. I'm that video girl. I geek out over video equipment. I geek out over lighting. But I'm also a storyteller. To the core, I'm a storyteller. When I first started out in life, I was writing poetry and music lyrics. And honestly, my music career did not take off. So then I went into videos, and videos has been working for me. I worked in the television industry. I worked for a major television network for probably about 4 years. And now I'm leveraging my experience in television, so the full 14 years, bringing it to social media, empowering my clients, and teaching them how to create binge-worthy content.
Wow. That is huge. First of all, major respect, because that is dedication, that is tenacity, and that is diligence. Like, you're diligent, you're tenacious about it, you're quick to think about it as well, and it's made you this sharp, focused planner, you know, because now you know exactly what you want and you know exactly what you're going for.
Yep, it's very true. And I like that you said sharp, focused planner, because that's what I had to do. Like, it's interesting when you're working for a company, you know everything you need to do. But as soon as you start working for yourself, it's like you totally forget. You got to plan, you got to produce, you got to execute. And so now I'm making sure that I'm doing that. I have been doing it very well. And it's caught the attention of a lot of people on social media. And because of that, I'm able to like build my business and now teach others how to do the same thing.
Wow, that is beautiful, because when I think about this, the next thing that comes to me is like the 3 I's that you talked about, you know, influence, income, and impact. Now, let's break this down, because we think about influence and we think, oh yeah, okay, influencers. We think about, income. We're like, oh, okay, what can we do right now to make a discount sale or a Black Friday sale, or, something that is just like, okay, we haven't emailed you all year, but hello, it's like there's no humanization of the brand. So how does someone still stay connected? And then the third one is now impact. How can they do all three?
So I love that you even brought that up. I didn't even say it. That's so funny. Okay, influence is super important, right? For me, God told me to start creating content on social media. He said, start telling your story. This was back in 2018. And I'm like, why? Does anyone want to listen to me? But for 3 years, I'm telling my story. I'm building my community. I'm building my influence. And then I get to a point that I'm like, God, why am I so broke? What is going on? And I'm not growing the way that I want to grow. I'm like, why am I creating this content? What is the point in all of this? And then God says to me, well, you have nothing to offer. You got to start making some money. So I'm thinking with the influence, the money's just going to come. But no, it doesn't. So now I have to move into a business mind and start making money of my own. And so I'm like, okay. Then I meet someone. She works at NBC. I can't remember her name right now. But I told her, I love exactly what you did, because she has influence. Then she started making money on her own. And she said to me, let me tell you a secret. Influence plus income equals impact. And I was like, what? It shifted my whole mind. There's a lot of us who are out here who are like, well, I'll just grow my social channel. I'll just get a lot of followers. But you will not have impact. You will not be able to travel this world to speak to people when you need to. You will not be able to reach as much people as you want to and actually transform lives if you are a fake influencer with no money and you're not able to attract the attention of your audience. So in order to get influence, definitely get your healing, be submitted to God, live your authentic truth, and then generate wealth. That's something that God gave us the power to do. He said, I give you the power to get wealth. And from that, you show people how having both of these things can mean maximized impact. It can mean maximized impact in this world. Especially like for me, I'm passionate about a lot of things. If I want to help someone, if I want to help a country out, I want to be able to donate to them and not be someone who's just like, oh, well, I got a lot of followers, but I don't have any money to be able to donate. Like that impact is super, super important.
Oof. We gotta rewind that one. What? That is so true, because it's like the influence is what people want to get to, but they're like, oh yeah, I got 200,000 followers, but I've never gotten a sale. So What does that mean? Like, are the numbers wrong, or am I not seeing correctly? Like, what is the connection? What do I need to do to build that bridge? And I think most times when people think about it and they're like, okay, now I see what the problem is. I'm not solving a problem, because when you don't solve a problem, how are you going to make money? If you can't fix the light, how are you going to get paid to fix it? So you want to think about those basic needs, but stretch it out to their interests, their keywords, what are those key things they keep saying every day? Oh, I need this. When your kid says, oh, I need this, you know what they need, because it's a key thing. So it's like when we take it back to the basics, it doesn't get that complicated.
Very, very true. And I love that you said that, like really zeroing in on your audience and what they need, because that's really how you're going to have ultimate influence, right? Like, you could have 200,000 followers and then you put out a product and nobody buys it because you didn't inspire them, you didn't empower them, you didn't activate them, right? We're not chasing fame, right? Like you don't want to just be famous. You want to be able to transform the lives of the people who are coming to you. Like, people who are coming to me and they're quoting things that I said, and I'm always like, God, I hope I said that right. I don't ever want anyone to feel like I misled them or led them astray or anything like that. So you want to make sure you're using your influence in a way that you are actually transforming lives, and that is why influence plus income equals impact.
That is 100% correct. Now, I'm even thinking a little bit step further, that from what you just said, when you have impact, right? And I love your website because you say join the movement. You don't hear people say the movement. When you hear it, you're like, what is that? Like, what's going on? So give us a brief on like how you came to think about that, so that when people are coming in, they have that mentality at the door.
Yeah, no, seriously, that is so good. I have always been someone where I like to create experiences. Like working in television, telling my stories, I like to create an experience for someone. I don't want you to just watch my video and be like, oh, that was like, I want you to be pulled in. I want you to see yourself on the camera, see yourself on the video, and think to yourself, that's me, and I need to make some changes. So for me, I'm like, if I'm going to create an experience for you, then this needs to become a movement so that you feel included. Like, I recognize at a very young age that when you are a leader, the people that you are leading are coming to you for a reason. Not just because you have a pretty face, like, yeah, that's true, right? But because they desire something, they desire a transformation. And if I want to make maximum impact in this world, it has to be a movement. People have to feel like they are included, and they have to feel like their lives are being transformed.
100%. And that is really where transformation begins, because people think like, oh yeah, you can rank online tomorrow if you do this now. And I'm like, if somebody tells you that, please run, because you don't want to be that person. So like, you think about it, like you mentioned with, content, being there. When I think about it SEO wise, and let's go to Instagram just a little bit when we think about impact, because this just came to me. SEO wise, when someone's searching for your content, you know how we say, oh yeah, Instagram now is search friendly and everything. Great. Now, your actual Instagram TV video, the title of it can be on Google if you have your keyword placed there. And within 6 months, let's say that is an article, someone featured it and they talked about you, and it ended up on an article. That's another way to to give signal. So how important should someone be when they're thinking about what they're saying and how they're writing it?
Oh, it's very important. And this is funny because I just started learning about SEO and keywords just a couple of months ago, and it completely shifted the way that I was doing things, because I always heard that it was important, but I didn't recognize how. And I always tell my audience, it's great to make binge-worthy content. It means nothing if people cannot find you. And so now a good strategy is to plan out your keywords before you actually start creating your content. Like, if you create your content and then try to add it in, it's going to feel forced and it will not be natural. So now I actually sit down and I think about my audience first. What are they looking for? What pain am I going to address? What value am I going to add that's going to help them? And then you put the keywords, you speak it, you add it for your closed captioning for your video, and you put it in the title as well. Like, those things are super important just so that you can be found online.
100%.
Instagram specifically, I should say.
Right? No, it's true though, because now people are going to find you in the Explore feed, because you are able to, really help someone get somewhere. And when people see activity, there's something happening. And that shows that there's a response, there's an engagement, there's something I can be able to work with. So it's like, I can't just be here trying to put out my own content and not see what other people are doing. Hello?
That's selfish content, first of all. Like, that's you. And a lot of us do this. We start off and we're like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to put out content about me and my family. And, I'll try to learn the pain points, but that's selfish content, and there's no way you're going to rise to influence. There's no way you're going to reach your dream customers if you keep doing that. Like, you really have to get into the mind of your audience. What is it that they desire from me? You have a product, you have a service, it will change lives. Your product and service will change lives, but it won't if no one can find you. It won't if they aren't connecting to your content. So, and then technically, you'll just be wasting your time. And I've been there before. I have been there. Like, I have cried out to God so many times, how can I be seen? How can I be? Like, it is the worst feeling in the world to be the expert in your field and no one knows about you. That makes you the best kept secret. Wouldn't you want to go from the best kept secret to the best paid? I think best paid sounds a lot better than best kept secret.
That should actually be the title of this podcast. Best kept secret versus best paid. Which one are you?
I'd love to take credit for that, but I have a business coach, and she's actually the one who gave that to me because I was feeling frustrated that way. You know, like, you can easily get rejected on social media. You put out your content, it flops. You spend hours creating something, you think it's a masterpiece, and the internet tells you, now we don't want that, it's trash, right? And that's how I was feeling when I was just creating content without an offer, without a strategy. That's how I felt in the TV industry. That's why I had to leave. God said, you gotta go. Because I felt overlooked, underpaid, undervalued. And I'm like, I have all these information. Like, when I first just started this podcast and started talking to you, I said, I want to transform lives. I want to create experiences. That's great and all, but not everybody wants to do that. Like, the TV industry wants to do what the TV industry wants to do. Social media wants to do what social media wants to do. If you want to make impact, you literally have to start making money so that people can see you in a certain light. And I know this sounds bizarre because a lot of us are Christians and we're like, no, it's God who's going to do the work. Yes, he is going to do the work, but people listen to money. They just do. It's just the reality of it. So if you want to be found, if you want to be seen, play the game, do what you need to do so that people can actually see that you're here to help them.
That's clutch. Because when they know that you're here to help them, they can tell you their problem. And if you can solve it, they're going to tell someone else about what you did. That's a review. That's a like. That's a save, you know. So people don't think about that digital currency because it's like, oh, I'm not getting money for this, but you don't want to like it, but you want to binge on it all day. You know, it's very different. So I'm like, oh, this is really, it makes sense. You can see it and it works. But I feel like when people are more intentional, it changes, because when you talk about content now, one of the things that has really come really hard for me this year is video content and infographic content. Could you tell us more about how these two can play together when someone is thinking about 3 months out or 6 months out? Yeah.
Absolutely. So before we get 3 months out, I'm going to take us all the way back to 2015.
Let's go.
Right? In 2015, I was a production coordinator working at a popular PR firm. And there was this stat that went out about videos. It said, videos, in 10 years, videos are going to take over video marketing. And I thought, great, because that's the industry I'm in anyway, right? 6 years into this said prophecy, last year made 6 years, video started taking over and blowing up like crazy. People started running around like chickens with their heads cut off. I don't know how to do video. I don't know how to do video. And I'm just sitting here like, all right, well, you know, let me just start shooting. Let me start editing, because I was already prepared, because this is my industry. And I recognized that this was going to happen. I say this to say, if you want to remain relevant, you really have to start doing video. Video brings you into a whole new set of audience. You can leverage your videos to do 3 things: to build your trust, build trust and authority with your audience, build relationships and community, and get their buy-in. This is why I really love video. And how do we know that this is true? Because the movie industry does it all the time. Like, when we see films coming out, what do? They release trailers. Like, Black Panther was perfect for it. They released a trailer maybe like a year before the movie was ready to go, and we were all like, all right, everybody was going to get clothing so that they could look like they were from Africa. They were taking, like, a whole community was formed. Mm-hmm. People were running to the box office. It is the highest money-making Marvel movie on screen for that year. And I was just like, wow, all of that from a real? Yeah, all of that from a real. Right?
That's crazy.
So now that you have that in perspective, because video isn't going anywhere, and it didn't come out of nowhere. Like, back in, I don't remember when the Great Depression was, but during the Great Depression, the one industry that didn't lose any money was film and television. Because people need an escape. People need an escape. They want to escape pain and escape to desire. This is what I teach my clients. I teach you exactly how to create an escape for your audience so that they are leaving whatever pain they have and they are coming to you because you have the solution to their problem. So now when you're thinking like this, 3 months out, you start gather your pain points. What are the pain points that my audience has, right?
Yeah.
Right? Get your keywords together. How am I going to formulate this all now so that they can actually find it when they are typing it in? And then get some inspiration. Get some inspiration. You can get it from YouTube. You can get it from TikTok. You can get it from Instagram. You can get it from movies, from music. Like, start to really tap into your creative side. Everyone has a creative side. That imagination that you had, start doing that. And then just pick up your camera and start shooting. I know that sounds very scary, right? Because you want it to look perfect. But not everything starts off perfect. Would you rather get started now and in 3 months you see the progression of your videos looking amazing? Or would you rather not get started, you're still scared, and then 3 months later you're like, wow, I still don't know what I'm doing. And then on top of that, if you really feel like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing and I'm too afraid, I'm too stuck to get started, hire a coach. That's what I'm here for. You don't have to figure it out on your own. I actually show you how to package your message, how to package your offer, how to relate to your audience in video, how to shoot, how to edit, how to catch their attention, how to tell your stories in a way that's going to draw them in. And then with infographics, I'm just going to go with carousels for Instagram because those are amazing. Canva is my best kept secret. I love me some Canva. Go to Canva, type in Instagram carousels. It will pop up, you plug and play, and then release it. Canva is amazing. Also, you can create videos in Canva too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That is so true. Because I was just thinking, I was like, people are just listening like, okay, this is what I got to do to make it happen. Okay, let's go. That's the goal right here. Because I don't want you to listen to this podcast and you're like, yeah. And then tomorrow we're like, what happened? We want you to like really take this information, run with it. Some people end up learning these things and building businesses. I think one of the podcasts, one of the great people that, we've been able to see on podcasting, like Amy Potterfield, for example. I think I was on Clubhouse and someone was talking about how she listened to her episodes on podcasts and she just did her own business. She actually set up her own business from a podcast. And when you hear that and then someone tells me, oh, I'm at the grocery store listening to your podcast, I'm like, what? So that now tells me that the people listening, they're actively listening. So even you're like, oh, what was that? Rewind it, refresh, think about it, come back, sit down, take notes, because this is long, and you can't take everything in one sitting. You gotta bite it down. You gotta, make sure that by the time you're 3 months in, you're so far. And now that you were thinking about it, as you mentioned that, I was now gonna ask you this. Based on like the people you've been coaching, what's the number one thing that you realize that they need? Because someone might be needing this too. And where do you think they could be in those 3 months when they've worked with you, seeing that there was an element that was added as an asset to their business?
So the number one thing that I noticed is storytelling. They just don't know how to tell their story in a way that's going to attract audience. Like some of us, we downplay our stories, but it's your stories that's what's selling. I always tell people, sell without selling with storytelling. That's literally my secret. Like that's how I'm getting people, that's how I'm getting their attention, that's how I'm getting their buy-in, because I'm sharing my story with them and they're like, I can relate to that. Oh my gosh, that happened to me too. And now you're on the other side. Okay, that's gonna be me as well. Storytelling. So I help people, I pull those stories out of you. I show you exactly how to strategically tell them, right? Because we're not telling every story. Because I see people up there like telling stories about their kids and their husband or wife, and I'm like, are they for sale? I do not condone human trafficking. But if your family ain't for sale, stop posting them.
Yes.
Just stop it. It ain't helping you, not at all. Stop
Zero.
posting your family, right? So I teach you how to tell stories strategically so that you are actually positioning your brand to bring in your ideal customers, and not just bring them in, so they can invest because they want what it is that you have. So it's storytelling. And in 3 months, when you are consistently posting your stories on social media or anywhere, you can see an increase in your leads you can see an increase in your sales, and you can see an increase in your brand awareness, which is so important.
Brand awareness. That gets me to think now about what we talked about in the beginning, about influence. Because if you don't have a brand that you can influence, then you can't make income because they don't recognize a brand. So you have no impact.
No impact. Come on now. Now you have no impact. All of it plays together. And I show you exactly how to establish your brand on social media. So it's more than just telling stories. You also have a strong brand. You have an attractive brand. You have a brand with a memorable message that people, when they see your brand, they're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that is. I know exactly who that is. You have an untouchable uniqueness. I love sharing this with my audience. This is the one thing that only you can do. So now when people see it, they always think of you. Whenever people hear binge-worthy content, the first person they think about is me. I had a friend call me the other day, and I met her on Clubhouse. We never spoke on the phone before. She called me and she said, girl, me and my family was just Netflix binging your content. So I'm living my truth. So when I tell you that I teach you how to make binge-worthy content, go to my page right now at bookofstar_. You're going to be like, oh my goodness, she's telling the truth. You want to live your truth, and that's my memorable message. People will know, that's exactly what she's doing. Got it.
Because you're really bringing it out to them, and you can see exactly what they're looking at, and it plays a huge role, because they're like, oh, that's nice. When you see someone in a great color, in a bright color, even for Pinterest, for example, when you have colors like the colors you have, you will do so well because colors sell.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that. Colors sell. I gotta take note of that. Colors sell. You are so right. Colors do sell. I talk about lighting and darkness. I talk about, so one thing that I started doing was sharing with you what your content is speaking about you. I'm like, is your content talking bad about you behind your back? Because sometimes that happens. If you have a dark video, that's telling your audience something. Your audience is now looking at you like, your content is actually telling your audience, don't trust me, I have no light, I have no knowledge, I have no inspiration, and I won't be able to help you. Why? Because like you just said, colors sell. Light actually tells your audience you have wisdom, you have knowledge, and you have the information that's going to help them. So I love that you said that.
Thank you. I appreciate you. This podcast made this happen. That's the beauty about this podcast. It's just like, whoa, drop over there, and you got to rewind because that's in the moment, So it's just beautiful because it just makes me feel like a lot of people are going to really get out of their shell, because in 2012, who was doing videos? Or in 2002, who was doing videos?
Just YouTubers.
Exactly. So even right now with vertical videos, horizontal videos, taking time and planning, what platform right now, this is your opinion, and I would love people to know why, because they may be using it and they're like, okay, that makes sense. So what would you say, and I'll give you top 3, so let's make it fair. Top 3 social media sites or search engines, because it could be either or, that you want to use or have used or are using.
Okay. So it's so funny. If you didn't say search engine, TikTok would have been in my top 3.
Okay.
Then you think, yeah, because TikTok, I'm telling you, first of all, TikTok gave everyone a run for their money. Vine and Snapchat made vertical video interesting. TikTok made vertical video the thing. It made it a thing. And so now everyone's doing it, but they don't have a search engine. So YouTube, definitely. YouTube, number 1. I will always say YouTube because it's linked to Google. People, a lot of times when they are searching, first of all, YouTube has whole master classes, right? There are people who have graduated from the University of YouTube. I am one of them. So YouTube is definitely it. Instagram, because they now introduce search engines, and I think, I might be misquoting this, but I think Instagram is still the number 1 social media platform, so you definitely want to be on there. And Pinterest. Pinterest has vertical videos. I think you said it was going away, but they have vertical videos too, and Pinterest is a really good way to be found. I learned about Pinterest because I wasn't on it. Like, I loved using it, but I wasn't strategically using it. So it wasn't until last year when I was like, let me start creating a business out of what I'm doing, that I was drawn to Pinterest. And I'm like, it's now part of my marketing strategy. Like, Pinterest is it.
Okay. I didn't think you were going to say Pinterest, because I was probably going to hear like maybe LinkedIn or...
I mean, LinkedIn, yes, I'm a creative. LinkedIn
right.
is not my...
And they have like LinkedIn creator mode, so I don't even know how that plays in, but it's a whole different thing, because Instagram, TikTok, that's really where creativity is. And now Pinterest, now that you even mentioned it, I can't wait, because the things you're going to notice on Pinterest are so great that once you're part of that community, that the people who are searching for you find you start to build a completely new audience, because now you're tapping into people who have interests, because Pinterest has something called a taste graph. Yeah, it's a taste graph. People like the colors, and then that matches with advertising and marketing. So it's beautiful, and you already have everything you got. Like, your binge-worthy content people can be swiping, because Pinterest is literally, I call it a hybrid, because it is a search engine, but it's a hybrid too, because now, before they just had browse, now you can browse or watch. So if you go to the watch section, it now turns into TikTok or Reels mode. And you can put all your idea pins, because after 24 hours on Pinterest, you can still have your idea pins posted and they don't expire. What is discontinuing is the video cover on Pinterest, which they just announced recently. It was just yesterday. So I had to let my audience and my people know, hey guys, by the way, you guys got to change your video covers. We're going away, but it's a good thing, because that makes them know that if I'm helping them with that kind of information, it's like, if I didn't tell you, you didn't know, you probably would know a year later or a month later. I've helped you, you know what I'm saying? So it's so different now, because on Pinterest now you will come in and show them that light, show them that thing, and you're going to tell them, hey guys, here's how to do an idea pin, or here's how to do an Instagram reel in 5 seconds. And then you tell them, point number 1, boom. Point number 2, click here to follow me for more tips. Before you know, you come back next week, you've only posted one a week on Pinterest, and you're driving in numbers because you're using a search engine.
I love that. See, I told you it's part of my strategy, and I'm totally looking forward to working with you on this, because I was like, Lord, send me somebody. I started my Pinterest page. I put whatever I need to put on it, and I have yet to post. I was like, okay, I need to post this week. But honestly, because I'm taking my keywords very seriously, I need to step my keyword game up so that I can really rank on Pinterest. And then also, I've been in launch mode for the last 2 weeks, so I had to focus on launching. But once I'm launched, marketing all the way. All the way, definitely. This has been exciting. You have been able to bless this audience and just give us the amazing things that I believe, just listening, there's something you can bring to the table. There's something I can bring to the table. They can bring something to the table, because it's all a collective. It's all something that we can work together in, because we're trying to help. People say, oh yeah, free stuff is not free. But it is true. Free stuff is not free, because somebody paid the price to get it there. Somebody uploaded it. Somebody edited it. Somebody, spent money to help you get the cable up. Somebody had to, some type of investment was made. So when you think about those things and be grateful for what you have, and then show people, like you said, I love what you said. I think that's the highlight for me here is, the light and the dark. When you think about, your content, when you have dark content, people think, is this a horror movie? Like, what are we doing? Exactly, So it's all about the light and how you can bring that in and show people the way, so that here's how to do it. Okay, here's how to tie a tie. Here's how to cook lasagna. Here's how to, take your date on a wedding, or take your, something that you can be able to do that you're like, okay, if I'm taking my date to a wedding, or taking my date to a prom date, or taking my date to a restaurant, then what you're going to see are going to be restaurants, locations,
like it becomes even deeper. So I just gave you one example and you're now painting a picture. That's the same picture you should paint for your clients.
Yes, I love that. You're absolutely right. And then also just offering multiple solutions. Like, one thing that I like about social media, period, is that you can go down a rabbit hole, but they want to go down that rabbit hole because there are solutions for them. Like, their problems are being answered. Anytime I have gone to Pinterest, it's because I need ideas on a photo shoot, right? And I get to see a plethora of photos. I get to see different types of styling and outfits, and I get to see different locations. All I did was go there for, okay, let me see an idea for a photo shoot. Now I came out with a location, with an outfit, and a whole props and all of that. So yes, I 100% agree with you.
This is beautiful. I'm so glad you're able to be here and join us today and be part of today's conversation, because this is something people are going to listen to for life. Like, you know, your kids going to listen to this, you know. so make sure that when you're applying these concepts, just be very careful of the people that you're doing it for, and that can go a long way. And even with your experience, you've just shown us that it's possible. Like, some people want to leave their job or quit their job or try something new or start again. And sometimes they're not feeling that motivation to, because they're like, I got burnt the last time, so I don't want to feel that way again. And those are things that people need to come out of, because once you feel comfortable being uncomfortable, you got to become uncomfortable being comfortable.
First of all, that was amazing what you said. That was my life. That was literally my life. Like, I think I had talked about being rejected on social media, being rejected in my industry. I would create, like, I wrote, produced, directed 2 short films, and they played in film festivals. So bravo, that was amazing. But after that, I did produce one talk show that played on YouTube, and it didn't really go anywhere. And I felt really heartbroken, and other things that I would produce and create, it just didn't go anywhere. And it stopped me from being where I am now. Like, literally, God had to, last year, November, when I hired my business coach, she was able to call those things out of me. Then I had to address it, and God was like, you need to cast your net again. You need to trust again. You need to try again. Like, this time you won't fail. And also, we have to understand that you want to fail. You want to fail, and you want to fail fast, just so that you can succeed sooner. We have this rhetoric in our minds thinking that if we fail, that's it. That's how I was operating. But it's not true. You're learning. This is your learning process. These are your growing pains. And then once you overcome all of that, abundance, baby. Because that's what happened to me. Like, once I overcame the pain, the hurt from being disappointed, I'm here now on your podcast. I just did a podcast 2 hours earlier than that. I'm creating content. I'm showing others how to create content. I'm living my truth. So don't let your disappointments stop you from being who you need to be, because we need you. We need you. There are people who are praying for you. They're like, God, I need this, and you are the answer to their prayer. So if you let disappointment stop you, that person who's praying for the solution is not going to get it. So we need you to show up, we need you to show out, and we need you to show off. Show off, right? Because those disappointments try to destroy you. Now you get to show us what it looks like when you overcome disappointment, when you heal, and when you decided, you know what, I'm going to just be me, and I'm going to do me too.
Exactly. That part. What? Yeah, podcast is one of the best podcasts. You know, like, there's so many podcasts in the Hall of Fame, but this one goes to the roof, because when you listen to everything, it's like you come out of your shell and you feel like, oh yeah, I'm Superman, you know, I'm Wonder Woman, you know, I feel like I can do this, you know, I'm in this whole Wakanda fever. Like, I mean, like, okay, let's go, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like I'm really ready to take this a notch higher, because people need to see things, you know, like, even when it's true, when in the Bible it says, like, ears have not heard, you know, eyes have not seen, you know. So you think, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? Eyes have not seen anything close to what you can do. That's why we're always fascinated about the new things that are happening, because it's like we've never seen them, you know, but when we see them, we get used to them. But when we see something new, it's like, okay, but when you know what you're doing, you're focused.
Ooh, so good. I absolutely love that she said that. especially the ears have not heard and the eyes have not seen, because 2 platforms came to mind when you said that. Netflix, like legit, no one ever seen streaming like that before. And so much so that Blockbuster said no to them. And now, where's Blockbuster? Again, who knows? Right, it's no longer relevant. You don't want to be like that.
Blockbuster.
Okay. Hashtag don't be Blockbuster, right? But Netflix came out, they destroyed them, and now we are so accustomed to it, but we have never seen or heard of it before. And then TikTok. We've seen vertical videos and whatnot, but we have never seen it the way that TikTok has popularized it, because TikTok recognized the power of creativity. They said, we're going to create our platform to spotlight creatives. Instagram wasn't doing that. Like, it was super hard as a creative to rise on Instagram. If you were a model, maybe, if you were really good with a message, maybe you can do that. Like, that's those influencers you see that were doing travel and all that stuff, right? But TikTok was like, no, we're going to take the power back, and we're going to give it to people who are kept a secret so they can rise. And that's when we see the Tabitha Browns rising. We see the Ariel Fitz rising. And TikTok is giving Instagram a run for their relevancy. And so Instagram was like, well, we're not trying to be no Blockbuster. So we're going to drop Reels. And not just TikTok, and not just Instagram. Because you just said LinkedIn. I totally forgot they had that. The creators portal. Because same thing. They were like, we definitely not about to be Napster. Because how many of y'all remember Napster? Okay, now. Yeah. I'll be dropping all the old school that we totally forgot about. Kodak.
Right.
Okay.
Come on.
You want to remain relevant. That's why video content is super important. But eyes didn't see TikTok coming. Ears didn't hear Netflix coming. But when they showed up, they blew it out the park. And you can do that with your brand too.
Exactly. And people are waiting for you to do that so you can blow their minds, you know?
Yeah.
It's all about the intention. And when you have faith to do it, you can't let disappointment stop you.
That's it. I'm putting that one on my wall. Like,
hey.
You have faith. You can't let this, because that's what I had to remember that last year. I had been wallowing in a darkness of disappointment because I refused to let my faith shine light in my life to show me who I really am. And I'm so happy that I've been through the wilderness, because I am so proud to embrace me. I started to forget that I was a TV producer. I started to forget that I was a content creator. I wouldn't even utter the word influencer because I felt so rejected and disappointed. And guess what? I now get to take all of those stories and put it out for the world to see, to evoke those same emotions so that I can build a community, create a movement, and empower everyone who follows me. And then show you how to create wealth on top of that. It ain't just influence, it's also income.
Exactly.
So we can have ultimate impact.
Wow. This is beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shamara, for being here and just giving us all these gems. You know, you took us back into some years. You brought us back, you know, we're jigging with it, you know, come back, 2-step. This is fun. This is definitely fun.
I'm a TV producer. I paint pictures. I tell the whole story, beginning to end.
Exactly. If there's one way they can reach out to you and they're like, okay, I gotta connect, you know, what are the best options they have and what's coming for you this year, so that even next year and the years to come, they can always listen to this podcast and know, okay, I'm gonna find it over here.
Yes, yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at bookofstar_. That is always going to be my Instagram name until I get married and God's like, time for you to change it. And then you can go to my website, bookofstar.com. That's where I put my blogs out. And you're going to start seeing some new stuff, because guess who's about to start working with Favor to take my website up 10 notches.
Hey, it's lit. Thank you so much. You are always welcome to be here. We're definitely going to bring you back for sure. And I look forward to connecting with you and definitely catching out in the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you so much for having me. It was truly, truly an honor. And I love this conversation.